Howdy, friend. Um, this is another one of these fucking podcast things that I've tried a long time ago, and I'm finally gonna try to come back to. The reason it's been so long is that I don't know. I don't really know. I don't have a good reason. Usually you'd hope that I'd have oh well, I died or something, but no. I just didn't really want to do them for a long time. I've been working on a lot of other projects simultaneously, and I was finally like, hey, I was watching Strong Opinion Sports, hosted by Zach Schomler. It's my favorite podcast by far, and I was watching it, and I was like, hey, I got a lot of stuff that I want to talk about as well. So this is mostly going to be football related. It is literally entirely going to be football related. But hopefully that you don't think this is just a football idea at all, because I have a lot of shit I like to talk about, and I don't want to just pencil myself in as one thing. That's kind of why I started with an album review, is because I'm definitely not going to be a music channel, but, I cared about it, so I wanted to do it. First things first, breaking fucking news, Davante Adams traded to the Raiders for a first and a second. Holy shit. The Raiders are now back in competition, because at first it was like, oh yeah, you got Hunter Renfrow, which is literally fucking Julian Edelman 2. Love that guy. Crazy slot receiver, crazy quickness, ability to just get into open space. He is truly one of the best in the league at doing that, and it's really fucking impressive, and I'm a Chiefs fan, so I have to watch him do that a lot. They get Davante Adams, which really rounds out their receiving core. They have their traditional X receiver in Davante Adams. They have their big kind of go up and get it guy. I know that Bryan Edwards is he looks big. He doesn't play quite as big as I think he ought to, but he really is going to be good at that, just kind of go up and get it, play big, maybe get a screen and truck somebody, that kind of vibe. And then they have Hunter Renfrow. They lost Zay Jones. I don't know what the fuck you can say about that. It was Zay Jones. But, yeah, so another thing about the Raiders, before I move on to the next team, is they got Chandler fucking Jones. Yeah, I was like, he's not going back to Arizona. He made it very clear that he didn't want to be in Arizona anymore, at least. And I was like, I wonder where he's going to go. I was thinking, I really didn't have a defined spot for him where I thought that I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely chalk that he's going there. But I definitely didn't expect the Raiders. And I'm just going to be honest with you. In terms of trying to compete with Kansas City, which is everybody in the AFC West's job at this point, Chandler Jones and Max Crosby is a fucking killer duo. That is scary as hell, given the fact that the Chiefs don't even have a real right tackle. They re-signed Andrew Wiley. We did do that to $2 million. But would anybody in the world say, yeah, I got Andrew Wiley, so I feel pretty secure against fucking Chandler Jones? No, you wouldn't say that. So, yeah, Raiders are in contention. Let's get down to the motherfucking Chargers. They're insane. They're absolutely insane. I thought that Denver was going to get Khalil Mack in a similar trade to what the Chargers got him for, but no, couldn't be right for once. It had to go to a different rival team. And a second-round pick for Khalil Mack is, that's unbelievable. And as a Chiefs fan, and if you know the Chiefs, you know that we need edge so badly. The fact that we didn't do it immediately gives me grade 3 depression. I'm laying in my bed, crying, listening to Soriro Days, just having a ball, man. But then I was like, hey, it's okay, because even if we lose Tyrann Mathieu, I think we're going to get J.C. Jackson. Foolish of me. How foolish of me. The Chargers got J.C. Jackson. And if you don't know who J.C. Jackson is, or you don't have a full scope on what kind of player he is, I I don't know how to describe him perfectly. It's just like, imagine a player a lot like Denzel Ward, in my opinion, where he's like a really good man-to-man corner. But he also catches the ball like Xavier Howard. I guess he is a lot like Xavier Howard, but I think he's even better in coverage. He just doesn't quite have the hands and, get in front of it ability of that kind of guy. But he's really fucking close, and I really, really thought he was going to come to the Chiefs, but sadly he didn't. So that's heartbreaking. And then, just to top it all off, as if they didn't have enough, the rich get richer, Sebastian Joseph Day. Most people who watch the NFL, even if you watch it religiously, will probably not know a ton about Sebastian Joseph Day. I don't know as much as probably other people do because I'm not a fucking Rams fan. But I do know that he is a massive body. And I think it's funny because if you know Bengal, football YouTuber, like Madden kind of guy, I mean, he talks about real football too, but he did a Chargers rebuild with Khalil Mack, signed Sebastian Joseph Day, but didn't sign J.C. Jackson, so I guess he's going to have to redo that. I mean, Brett Coleman was making fun of him for that on Twitter. But, I don't know, Sebastian Joseph Day is everything that they need at DT, which is just a big fucking body in the middle, because they have basically no D tackles. Jerry Tillery is not a D tackle. I'm sorry. He's a 3-4 defensive end. He's like kind of a 3-tech kind of guy. But yeah, that's crazy. And then, holy fucking lizard shit. Russell Wilson comes to the AFC West on Denver. That is friggin' ridiculous. The idea of a guy of that caliber just coming to a quarterback-needy team. And now, let me be real with you guys. Let me be real with you, friend. I don't think that the Broncos are just a quarterback away. I know a lot of people say that as like a short term for like, they're pretty good, but they didn't have a quarterback. But I don't think they're really there yet. But damn, they're certainly competitive. And I think the fact that they're competitive is terrifying. Russell Wilson, I don't know really what I can say about him that hasn't been said. If you play Madden and you know the improviser, like, archetype, he basically created the fucking archetype for that. Because he's great on his feet. He's, in the words of Zach Schomler, he's a quarterback that can run, not a running quarterback. And I think that on a side note, I think that's what Bryce Young is out of Alabama. And I think he's going to be a stud. But Russell Wilson's great. Bigger arm than I think. I think a lot of people are like, yeah, he's got like a 91 in Madden. Guy's probably got closer to like a 94 in those terms. So hopefully that translates for you guys. He's got a really big arm. He's way faster than you think because a lot of his movement is in and out of the pocket and it's not really running up and down field. But when he wants to, he can really move. And I think that's not a surprise to anyone, but I just wanted to reiterate that. He immediately, with Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Tim Patrick, I believe they still have Tim Patrick. I don't think he's a free agent. That's really scary. I know their O-line isn't the best. They have Quinn Miners, though. And if I had to tell you one of my man crushes, it's Quinn Miners. Dude coming from was he a D2 or D3 school? Wisconsin Whitewater. I don't remember if that's D2 or 3. Came to the Senior Bowl, just dominated. Made his way to the NFL. He doesn't start for the most part, but he's really good, and I think he's going to be a starter one day. But, the only thing that you could have hoped for as a Denver fan in that trade that you didn't come to reality is that you really wish you could have kept Noah Fant. I was wrong, but I really wasn't too far off in that draft with TJ Hawkinson and Noah Fant. I can't remember what year it was, maybe that was 2019, wasn't it? With Kyler Murray. I think that was that draft. I watched Noah Fant at the Combine, and I was like, that motherfucker is better than TJ Hawkinson. I was wrong, But the other thing I had to say about him was that I think he's going to be a starter. I think he's going to be a straight-up starter. And now, is it a little cliche or a little contrived to say that a top... Oh, God, did he go 10 or 11? He went somewhere in, like, the teens or maybe 10 range. He went really high. Is it contrived to say that a really high pick is going to be really good? Yeah, I guess so. But I didn't know at the time that he was going to be good. I just watched him at the combine, and I was like, that dude's a stud. If Russell Wilson throwing to all of those guys plus Noah Fant would have been ridiculous. But sadly, that's not how it goes. And then finally, we fall on my Chiefs in our talk of the AFC West. The best thing I have to say to you is that we got Justin Reed. I personally love Justin Reed. There was a quote from him right after he signed that I thought was really great. And he said, if I see someone with an opposite jersey, I want to make them pay for being in my area. And I never thought of him as a big hitter. He's not like a Jamal Adams type. But he really is a do-it-all strong safety. I mean, he could play either safety spot, let's just be real, because safety spots don't really fucking matter, and it's really just depending on what you're able to do. But I think he's going to play strong safety for us. I think Juan Thornhill is more than ready to play that traditional free safety, at least in mostly 2 high sets. But Justin Reed, he covers really well. He's a great athlete. He's a bit bigger than Tyrann Mathieu, which I think is actually really much so to his benefit, at least in our system, because he's going to play a lot more physical than Tyrann Mathieu. And look, I know, I was the biggest Tyrann Mathieu fan. He's 5'9", 180. He's not particularly large. I know that he strips the ball well, he catches well, he's so fucking versatile. He can play free safety, strong safety, slot corner, outside corner. He could even play, for some reason, somehow, he could play an almost hybrid, nickel corner linebacker kind of deal. He wasn't great at that, but the fact that he could even do it and be sustainable in some way is really fucking impressive. That's literally insane. So, yeah, holy shit. But I think that Justin Reed is really going to fit better in our system, just because of the fact that he can play more in the box as a more traditional guy. He hits, I think, harder. I think that he is more physical. And I think that he is not quite as good in coverage, obviously, because Tyrann Mathieu's the best cover safety pretty much. But I really do think Justin Reed is our guy for replacing Tyrann Mathieu. Now, if we get Tyrann Mathieu back, holy shit, that'd be awesome. He could play corner. He could just play corner for us, and I wouldn't be mad about it at all. I'd be freaking out. I'd be soiling my panties. But that's probably just not how that's going to go. So, overall, if you want to take away from this TLDR, this is what everyone's been saying, but I'll say it myself. Bombs away in the AFC West. I mean, everyone is good. Everyone has superstar talent. Everyone has the ability, maybe not to win it, but I think everyone could be top 2. I think everyone has the capability to be top 2 in our division. So, yeah. Next thing that I want to talk about, also football related, is Baker Mayfield. And I'm going to leave you off on that. And I'm going to take a quick break because it's so fucking hot. If you didn't know, I literally have to record this under a blanket in a room with no fans on. And it's really fucking hot. And it's awful. But I do it because I love doing this. I'm going to leave you for a quick break. I will be right back. Okie dokie. Welcome back. I took a short break. Got some water. Tried to cool down a little bit, but we're back, and we're back on football. So like I said, we're talking about Baker Mayfield. If you haven't heard yet, because this is probably going to be coming out pretty soon to the news, Baker Mayfield requested a trade. The thing about that, with Baker specifically, is that I've kind of been an A1 Baker hater. Not since he was drafted, but specifically since last year. I was like, oh, this guy's kind of buns, and his accuracy is buns, and his decision-making sometimes is buns. And, I was just kind of he's not great. So, Why is it that I've kind of flipped the script, rather? I don't have a script for this. And decided to really support him in this. Well, think about it like this, right? The Browns, before Baker Mayfield, trash. I mean, they're garbage dump poverty franchise, right? And then they get Baker, and now Baker is not the only reason. I don't want you to convey this as like, well, Baker saved this team. No, not entirely. But just saying, they got Baker, they got a lot better. They even made the playoffs with Baker. Okay? So, like, look, he wasn't great. His first year he was great, because he didn't even start the whole season, still broke the record for touchdowns for a rookie quarterback. But here's the deal. The thing that broke the straw that broke the camel's back is that they tried to trade for Deshaun Watson. Sheesh. That's a real stab in the back, man. That is a real stab in the back. Baker gave everything he had, playing with a torn labrum. That's part of it. I didn't know he had a fucking torn labrum. Okay? Imagine tearing your throwing shoulder and then throwing a football 50 miles per hour for like 4 hours. Okay? Yeah, that's pretty fucking tough. Okay? So, the idea that he wasn't perfectly accurate, not really his fault. He was playing through it for his team. And then they're just like, yeah, we want Deshaun Watson, who, by the way, totally sexually assaulted multiple women. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't have a ton of proof, but like, come on. Over 20 accusations? Come on. Okay, don't play games with me. Obviously, he did something inappropriate. But back to Baker. They go and they really try to just fuck him over. And look, I don't think his relationship with them was perfect the whole time. But if you want to try to have your cake and eat it too and be like, well, I went for Deshaun, but you should stay because, we're the Browns and we drafted you. That's bullshit, man. He deserves to go somewhere where he's wanted. And you know what? That place is the Colts. He needs to go to the Colts. Because they want a real quarterback, and that's what I think he can be in a different circumstance. Do I think that the Browns are the reason he wasn't great? No. But do I think that he deserves another chance? Look, if fucking Sam Darnold can get multiple chances, that dude's buns. That dude's been buns. Okay, so if he can get multiple chances, Baker certainly deserves to. Anyway, goodness gracious. I talked about that really hard. Let's talk about the Packers, because I told you about the Davante Adams trade to the Raiders. And the thing is that there's two sides to every trade. What the fuck are the Packers doing? Oh my gosh. You literally, finally, have Aaron Rodgers back on a real deal, and he's like back on your team for sure, which you haven't known for like 2 years. You haven't known for sure that he was going to play for your team. And then you're like, hey, your number one receiver is going to be Allen Lazard. Suck my cock. Please, get down on your knees, Aaron Rodgers, and suck my cock. You're going to be throwing to Allen Lazard. What the fuck are you doing, brother? What are you doing? And it's like, it's not just that like Allen Lazard is the one. Randall Cobb is the two. And who was the three? Like David Moore. And look, let's be real, folks. I'm going to level with you. I love David Moore. I think David Moore is a really good slot receiver, and that Seattle should not have gotten rid of him, and that he deserves more. Does that mean he should be the third best receiver on your team? No. Not even close. So, let's get to the next topic, which is completely and utterly related. Aaron Rodgers fucked up and should have gone to the Titans. Look, you look at the Titans roster, and you're like, hey, Derrick Henry, best running back in the league. I love you, Jonathan Taylor. I'm going to go on a tangent really quick about Jonathan Taylor. I will come back to the Titans and Aaron Rodgers. In 2021? I don't remember. The Clyde Edwards-Helaire draft for the Chiefs. I was shouting from the rooftops, please, with our first round pick, draft Jonathan Taylor. He's a stud. He's not just a stud. He's fucking Darren McFadden, okay? He's so good, and he's so strong, and he's so fast, and he's so elusive, and he has great stamina, and his bounce-off ability is incredible, and he's so fucking good. And then we drafted Clyde, and I like Clyde, but he's not Jonathan Taylor. So, am I mad about it? Yes, because I had one of my very best draft, like I know he's going to be great, and he was, and we didn't draft him, even though he would have been perfect, because we barely used Clyde in the receiving game anyway. Come on, man. Jonathan Taylor catches just as well, and he's a way better true running back, and he's bigger, and he can take hits, and he can be a bell cow. Come on. I had to get that off my chest. I've been telling that to family members and friends that would listen for years now, and it's been eating me alive. Anyway, back to Aaron Rodgers and the Titans. Derrick Henry is the best running back in the league. Jonathan Taylor is 2. Holy shit, Derrick Henry is so good that he immediately makes your passing attack better, because if you run play action, they have to commit at least 4 people to the line. I'm talking at least 3 down linemen and at least a linebacker or 2 just to the run, because he's so big and so fast and so strong and so fucking good that you have to respect him, right? And then you have A.J. Brown. And look, I keep saying that, I'm sorry. I keep saying and look, as if you're not looking. Hopefully you're not looking, because I don't think I have anything interesting to show. It's more of an audio medium. But A.J. Brown is one of my hits. One of my hits, not pits. My pits stink because I'm sweating, because it's so fucking hot under this blanket. But he's one of my draft hits. I was like, that dude's going to be a stud, and I know he's not going to fall to the Chiefs, but if he did, he'd be our second best receiver, and we'd be amazing. And I'm going to go on another tangent, and if you're a Titans fan, I'm so sorry. But DK Metcalf is good at football, and I knew he was going to be good at football. Because at fucking Ole Miss, he ran straight, and he fucking did slants, and he bodied people, and he ran a 4.33, and guess what? He was also on the board for the fucking Chiefs. And you know who I wanted them to draft? Him. But we drafted McCole Hardman. And you know what McCole Hardman does? Fucking fumble. Sorry. I said, dude, get that off my chest. It's a lot. I know. A.J. Brown is a stud. And I have a guy that I want to talk about after this that is a lot like A.J. Brown. So you will hear more about his style. They just cut Julio. Do I feel bad for Julio? No. I'm sorry to say this. I loved Julio for his whole career, because I wasn't watching his whole career, but I always knew about him as the really big, crazy athlete guy that was kind of like Randy Moss, but not quite as good. And I was always yes, he is great. And then he got to the Titans, and I watched him a lot more because he was on the Titans. And my dad is from Memphis, so we watch the Titans when we can, as long as it doesn't override with the Chiefs. He's kind of buns now. The thing is that freak athleticism has just come to fail him, sadly. I hate to say it, but he's just not the athlete he used to be. And he was never super technically sound like a Devontae Adams. But, man, it's really sad to see what's happened to Julio. He's probably going to go to the Packers, and then they're going to have a bunch of washed-up receivers and Allen Lazard. So they're really going to be great. But, the receivers aren't great. The tight end isn't great. The line is really fucking good. But I thought that, with this offseason and everything, that the Titans were going to get strong on offense. They could get Aaron Rodgers. Everything would be great. But he decided to fuck up and go there. I touched on this a little bit earlier, but I'm going to talk about Deshaun Watson. I really, really want to just say that he's a rapist and that he can go fuck himself because that's what I believe. But I'm doing the like SNL thing or like the little kid thing where you're like posing like the Leafy thing. Remember he used to talk about this? Where you pose your insult as a question or like as like something that you aren't saying even though you're saying it. And then you have absolutely no responsibility to your sentences or to the things that you say. So I just did that. So fuck you, Deshaun Watson. Anyway, where should he go? Can I give you an honest answer? Because I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh my gosh, you got to go to like, I don't know, like the Saints. No, you don't. I have one very specific reason that I want this. Because I want him to go to Carolina so fucking bad. Because Matt Rule, I really like as a head coach. I really, really like Matt Rule. And I think the things that he could do in an RPO option, but like, you know how the fucking Ravens use like veer option and shit. If he could do that with him and Christian McCaffrey and run the screen game and run the RPO game with Deshaun Watson and Christian McCaffrey. And then obviously they have DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. They have Terrace Marshall. I think he could end up being good. I don't think he's going to, but I think he could. He was a second-round pick at LSU. He's got talent. He's definitely got talent. It would just be so good. And their line, not perfect, but not awful, not pitiful bad. I really think that it would be the perfect fit. And obviously, their defense is fucking crazy. The only problem is, would you have to give up Brian Burns to get him? I don't know if it's worth it, because I think Brian Burns is like, he's so good. Edge rusher in the run game. He's so big and he's so fucking athletic. He's so good. He can play all the way to the 9 to like the 4-eye. And he's still good at it. He's so fucking good. Is it worth it to get Deshaun Watson? Probably, in the long term. But also, would I want to do it if I was them? No. So that's my take on Deshaun Watson, is that he probably is a rapist, and he should go to Carolina and play with Christian McCaffrey and Matt Rule. Matt Rule is a coach. And be really, really good. Now, we're into the like draft analysis part of this little podcasty thingy. And first player I want to talk about is Treylon Burks. And if you remember earlier, I said that I was going to talk about someone that reminded me of A.J. Brown. And this is the guy that does that. Treylon Burks is a big body, 6'2", 235. Is he 230 or 235? I don't know. He only ran like a 4.5 at the combine. I think he plays faster than that. But the thing about it is that he's got like the A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel style, where you can basically play him as a running back if you want to. And it's not really that big a deal to do that, because he's so fucking big and strong and fast, and he's got such great movement ability, and he just has like it. Like, there's an it factor that Deebo Samuel has put on display that you can just give him the ball and let him work. I was about to compare him to Rondale Moore, but the problem with Rondale Moore is that he's fucking tiny. He's like 5'7". But that kind of like, just get him the ball and let him work. You know what I mean? Like, you know when you have a good center in basketball, and you're like, just get him the ball and let him go to town. That's how it is with a guy like Treylon Burks. Now, do I think the Chiefs are in play? No, because he's going to go in the teens, probably. Next, guys, I specifically want to talk about the quarterbacks in this draft. Matt Corral, you suck. Sam Howell, you suck. Kenny Pickett, you have a fucking noodle. The two guys that I think matter, genuinely will, I'm not going to say will, have the ability to be good in this league are Malik Willis and Desmond Ridder. Those are not the two people I thought I was going to be saying before the combine. But I watched Desmond Ridder run a 4.49, and I shit in my pants. And then I ate it because I was in shock, and I thought it was mousse, chocolate mousse. That was fucking gross. Sorry. Anyway, Desmond Ridder is a freaky athlete, just given the fact that he did not run at Cincinnati. He didn't run. And the fact that he runs a 4.4 fucking 9 is insane. And I think, hey, Carolina, maybe you're not going to get... Oh, no, I shouldn't say Carolina. But, like, hey, Commanders, if you want to say fuck you, Carson Wentz, which you should, think about it. Just think about it. The other guy, and okay, I didn't talk enough about Desmond Ridder, sorry. He's the most refined quarterback in the draft. Some people are going to say Kenny Pickett, and I'm going to say you're wrong, because Desmond Ridder plays with anticipation, and he may not have a cannon. He may not have what I would call a strong arm. He has enough. I don't think Kenny Pickett has enough. But he's accurate, and his decision-making is really good, and he can move, and we didn't even know he could move. So I think he is a for sure first-round pick. And then the other guy, the guy that I really believe in, and sadly, I have to bring Deshaun Watson back up again, because I think he's a Deshaun Watson clone, but maybe a little less rapey. Malik Willis out of Liberty. Fucking massive arm. I'm talking... I don't want to compare it to Josh Allen, but like think Aaron Rodgers like 3 years ago. Like really, really big arm. And the thing about it is that if he would have run at the combine, I don't know if he's in the 4.3s like a Lamar Jackson, but I think that he could have been in the 4.45, 4.4 flat range. Like, faster than Ridder, obviously. I think everyone knows that. He is a crazy athlete, and here's the deal. I was watching the combine to see how he would throw, and it fucking blew me away. Because there are people like Kyler Murray, and there are people like Patrick Mahomes, and there are people like Aaron Rodgers, where the ball just jumps out of their hand. It's like the ball's natural state is flying, and they are the ones holding it back. And not like the ball's natural state is like not moving, and they're trying to force it to do something it doesn't want to do. The ball, when it's coming out of their hand, wants to fly. And that's Malik Willis's arm. It's absolutely incredible. Speaking of Carolina, if you don't want to trade Brian Burns to get Deshaun Watson, take Malik Willis if he doesn't go to the Lions. I think he shouldn't go to the Lions. I think they should take Kayvon Thibodeau or Aiden Hutchinson, because they have Penei Sewell. They don't need to tackle. But take one of those edge rushers. They're really good. Malik Willis to Carolina is the same fantasy I have for Deshaun Watson, except they don't give up Brian Burns and multiple first-round picks. It is best case scenario. I love Charles Cross. He ran really, really well. He really shocked me with how well he ran. And obviously we know he's the best pass protector right now in the draft. But Malik Willis is just crazy good. And I think that he deserves to go 6 to the Panthers. Okay, now we are on to the fun part, which is the Chiefs' dream draft. And by that I mean, who could the Chiefs be taking in the first and second round? Do I care about the rest of the rounds? Not really. Hopefully the third round will be better. I don't even know if we have a third round pick, I'm going to be honest with you. I just really, really want us to take receiver, linebacker, corner, or tackle. First person I want to talk about is Trevor Penning. Do I think Trevor Penning will be there at 30? No. But if he was, you'd have to take him. 6'7", ran a sub-4 940. He can fly for a guy that big. Sorry. He is massive. He is strong. He may not be the most refined, but he can get there. And his athleticism is too high not to be taken. Next person, dream scenario. Christian Watson out of North Dakota State. And I know you hear that and you're like, North Dakota State? That's a D2 school. And to you I say, watch him play and watch him run at the combine. He can fly. He may not have 4.28 speed like the combine said he did for a second, which made me pee my pants. But he ran a 4.36, which is fucking flying for a 6'4", 6'5" guy. He can high point the ball. He can run pretty good routes. He's a freak athlete. I think he is a better prospect than DK, personally. I think he is crazy. Absolutely crazy. And he would be the perfect X receiver to let Tyreek do whatever the fuck he wants and get open. It would be so, so fun. Nakobe Dean. If you come to me in my house talking about Devin Lloyd, I'm going to face fuck you. Sorry, shouldn't have said that. I'm going to freak the fuck out. I can't believe I said that. Sorry. I'm going to freak the fuck out because Devin Lloyd is slow as fuck and he is not a Mike. He is a strong side backer. He is just not a Mike linebacker. He doesn't have sideline to sideline speed. And you know what? I think Nakobe Dean could be a Mike linebacker, but for the Chiefs, you know what I think he would do? Is play the Willie Gay role and let Nick Bolton be a pure Mike linebacker like he's fucking obviously supposed to be. And then our linebacking core is godlike because we have Willie Gay, Nakobe Dean, and Nick Bolton. And now, more on Nakobe Dean. He reminds me of a smaller, less physical Devin White. Why do I say that? Because he can fly. I mean, you can see that play against, oh God, who were they playing? Alabama, not in the Natty, but in the game in the SEC Championship. There are plays where they run screen passes where when the ball is thrown, he is already running there and most of the way there from the Mike position. He fucking flies. His instincts are off the chart. Now, hey, is he going to have trouble getting off a block sometimes? Yes. But is that coverage ability that put him on a linebacker and let him have fun coverage ability and the fact that he's super instinctual, super twitchy, and super fast, is that worth it? Fuck yes. Absolutely it is. Quay Walker for the second round is very different. In my opinion, he's Devin Lloyd, but a little bit faster and a little bit bigger. He is a pretty freaking good athlete. He is very physical. He tackles really well. Second round pick, he's hot off the presses. Okay, I think he can be really good. He can be developed by Spags. Hopefully he doesn't do the Ben Neiman thing and just not play our best linebackers. Fuck you, Spags, for doing that. I love you. It's a love-hate relationship. And then Trent McDuffie. Here's my corner breakdown. Here's a quick thing for this. Sauce Gardner 1. Derek Stingley 2. Trent McDuffie 3. I think he is the best zone corner in the draft. And I think that he has the athleticism and size to go back to safety if you really want him to. So I think that value is freakish at the end of the first round. If he's still there, we got to grab him. Swap him. What the fuck am I saying? Last person I want to say for this section, Breece Hall. I'm going to say it right now. I fucking told y'all about Breece Hall. He ran a 4.39. That motherfucker can fly. He has the best contact balance of any running back in the draft. He has some of the best power. He has some of the best elusiveness. He can catch the fuck out of the ball. He does everything you want in modern running back, and he's the perfect size. He's like the Saquon build of really big legs. Super great, like the Kareem Hunt Saquon build. He is great, and I think Maybe not a first-round pick, but maybe a first-round pick. Would I be mad about it? No. But do I think it could have been spent better? Yeah. But second-round pick? I'd be all about it. I'd be all about it. By the way, Derek Gore, goated with the sauce. He may not be a white boy, but he is quirked up. And he's busting it down sexual style. And he is goated with the sauce. Okay? Let's lay that on the table. So that's the end of this little section. I'm going to come back in just a second. I have to take a break. I am so sweaty and so hot. Give me just 1 second, and I'll be right back. Okie dokie. I'm back again. Believe it or not. It's almost like I didn't lie. Next thing, football-wise, Trey Lance. Trey Lance, if you didn't know, in last year's draft was the 3rd overall pick from the San Francisco 49ers. And the thing about him is that at the time of the draft, I was not high on him. I was not a believer in Trey Lance. And I can't really explain why. It was a lot that I didn't watch a ton of him. And that, honestly, being from North Dakota State, he was from a D2 school. And I was like, hey, that athleticism, that speed, that arm strength that he seemed to have is probably not going to translate. But then he gets a couple opportunities. And I'm like, damn, he runs a lot like Josh Allen. And then you see him throw the ball a little bit more. And you're like, damn. He throws the ball a lot like a rookie Josh Allen. Damn. He's a lot like rookie Josh Allen. Huh. What a wacky coinky-dink. It's almost like I would compare the two. Compare. The thing about it is that he runs really fast. He's very quick. I don't know, because the past couple months I've been like, he runs like Lamar, but he's not quite as shifty and he uses a lot more power. At least he did a lot in college, and he did whenever they gave him like QB power on the Niners in his rookie year. But I don't know, I really like him, and I think that in terms of anything, he's as good of a prospect as any prospect. Now look, you got like a Trevor Lawrence, Peyton Manning kind of deal, where you're like, this guy's probably going to be really good, right? Trevor Lawrence isn't really panning out, but, hopefully he gets it together. I don't think anyone wants to see him fail. He doesn't really seem like a bad guy. But Trey Lance is just like, wow, he can move, he can run on the move, he can run on the move, he can throw on the move, he can throw really far. If you get his accuracy and his decision-making up, he's as good as any prospect. And I think there's a really big value to that that I didn't see. I thought they were going to take Mac Jones because everybody said they were going to take Mac Jones. And honestly, that would have been the wrong decision. Because in a Kyle Shanahan offense, I think we've seen it a lot with Jimmy G. You want a quarterback that can run. You want to have a guy that you can run read option with. Because seeing the way that Jimmy G's immobility has really hindered... his arm isn't big at all either. He's got a weak-ass arm. But the fact that he can't move has really hindered that team. I think that Trey Lance really is the perfect guy, and that Kyle Shanahan is going to turn him into a star. So that's that. Guy I mentioned there in the middle of that, Lamar Jackson. Can we be honest with ourselves? Can we be honest to the big man upstairs? Jimmy Jesus. Lamar Jackson is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He won the fucking MVP for a reason. He's the best running quarterback of all time. Or I guess I should say he's the best quarterback at running of all time. Sorry, Mike Vick. I'm in love with you. Sorry about the dog thing. You shouldn't have done that. I'm the first person to say that, huh? No. Lamar Jackson is such an electric athlete in and of himself that he is immediately one of the best players in the NFL. In the same way that a guy like Tyreek Hill is so fast and so shifty. If you get the ball in his hands, he's immediately good. Like, it's no question, it's no problem. And so why is it that we look at him and we're like, oh, you're not Aaron Rodgers when you throw the ball, you're not as valuable? Harbaugh, I can't remember which one it is, I think it's John Harbaugh, has easily made him just clearly the most athletic quarterback of all time. And he's shown it. It's not just like, oh, well, Josh Allen's up there. Well, no, that's a bad example. But like, people say that Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback of all time. And it's like, yeah, his arm was crazy and he could move pretty well, but you would never see Aaron Rodgers doing what Lamar Jackson does. He couldn't do it. He doesn't run a 4-3 flat as a quarterback. And now, does Lamar Jackson have a Trey Lance arm? No. But does he have a good enough arm? Yes. People were like, you need to be a receiver. No, he fucking doesn't. You act like he's got a Kenny Pickett noodle. Okay, that's not how he plays. That's not anything about him. He doesn't do that. He can throw on the run, and he's not going to throw it 60 yards on a line. But guess what he's going to do? He's going to take off for 60 yards, and it's just as good. Yards are yards. Moving the chains is moving the chains. He's as valuable as any quarterback. Like, as good as Deshaun Watson is, would you take 3 first-round picks for Lamar Jackson? No. Fuck no. Not even close. The Browns couldn't come to you right now and be like, we took the wrong quarterback, number 1 overall. Here's a couple first-round picks in Baker. Can we have Lamar Jackson? No. You wouldn't do that at all. You want to know why? Because Lamar Jackson is as valuable as any quarterback in the league that isn't named Mahomes or Brady. Straight up. He is a winner. He's been a winner since he came into the league. I don't know what you can say about him that's not like, oh, well, he doesn't have a massive arm. Okay. And he wasn't a great thrower of the football his rookie year. I'll tell you that. I'll be the first one to tell you that. But he is a really good one now. He has developed. The number one thing about drafting a rookie quarterback is that you can develop them. And they got him at the end of the first round, when he should have been a top 5 pick. I mean, if there isn't a value to that, to being the most physically talented quarterback of all time in terms of athleticism, then I don't know what you're looking at. I don't know what metric you want to be like, oh yeah, well that makes him great. Like, he can do everything you need him to do and more because of the fact that he can run like that. He runs like Michael Vick on steroids. So, like, I don't know, sorry. I'm rambling to some degree, but it's like, what do you want from the guy? He's done everything he can. And guess what? He didn't have a great year last year. He was injured. It's like a Baker Mayfield thing. It's like he wasn't 100% the whole season. And he still, I was going to say made the Pro Bowl, but he shouldn't have made the Pro Bowl when Josh Allen was playing that well. But he did make the Pro Bowl, which means that he wowed people enough to say, hey, I'm still up there. But for some reason, casual fans are like, oh, he's a running back. And it's like, how can you still be saying that after the MVP? Ridiculous. Tom Brady. I wasn't sure about talking about this because I was watching Strong Opinion Sports and Zach Schaumler talked about it. But I think it's as simple as this. Tom Brady's the GOAT. If you don't like it, that's really too bad. Like, sorry about you. Like, my favorite team is in the AFC. Tom Brady beat us in the AFC Championship in 2018. I know what it's like, man. I know what it's like to be like, fuck, this stupid fucking old guy needs to get the fuck out of the league already. Why is he winning everywhere he goes? Why is he so good? I know what it feels like. But let's just look at the reality. He's the winningest quarterback of all time. He's the most accurate quarterback of all time. He's the best leader in the history of football. Coach or otherwise, player or otherwise. He does everything. He is the prototype. I don't care about these new athletic quarterbacks. If you can get a guy that can play like Tom Brady, you want him. Honestly. Now, we have Patrick Mahomes. Would I trade Patrick Mahomes for Tom Brady? Maybe. And the fact that I'm not sure about it shows you how valuable Tom Brady is. I don't know, but maybe. I don't know. It's just like, people that want to talk down on Brady is just hilarious. That they want to pretend like they know anything that he doesn't know about football. Like what? It's kind of like the Lamar Jackson thing. What am I missing? What do you know that I don't about Tom Brady being the best? You know? And then the whole retirement thing was fucking hilarious. He was like, hey, I'm going to step away from football. And after a month and a half, he was like, holy fucking Christ. I want to play football so bad. I want to throw the pigskin around so bad. And it's like, yeah, you were born for this, dude. Like, why did you think that at the top of your game, you'd be able to just step away and deal with that? Like, obviously, you love the game more than you love probably anything in the world that isn't God. Like, there's no way you can just step away from the game while you can still play. I think he's going to have to do the Peyton Manning route and just get to the point where he can't play anymore and then have to retire. Because I think he loves the game too much. I don't think he can imagine a world where he isn't playing football. Okay, that's as much as I think anyone can say about Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. Stop disrespecting him. I mean, you can, but, like, you're wrong. So, have fun with that. Eli Apple. I'm going to talk about this for a very short amount of time. Eli Apple is a clown. Eli Apple, you know, the Bengals beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. Heartbreaking loss for me. You know. Anytime your team is in the AFC or is in a championship and they lose and they're that close to a Super Bowl, it breaks you. You know, it's one of those bad things. It wasn't the worst because I love Joe Burrow. I love Lamar Chase. They're two of my favorite players in the league. I knew they were both going to be superstars. And I knew I knew Jamar Chase was going to be the best receiver of all time when he was a junior in college. You just knew it. Or whenever he was a sophomore, sorry. You just knew it. You knew he was going to be the best of all time. And I think he's on pace to do that. You just knew it when you watched him. But Eli Apple was the weirdest thing to come out of that loss. Because this washed up bum that couldn't even make it on the Giants wants to talk shit when he's buns? And, like, that's one thing. Sorry. That's one thing to do that. But then you go to the Super Bowl and you give up the game-winning touchdown. I mean, I'm going to put clown emojis up on the screen immediately. Like, you gotta know. That's the clownest shit you've ever seen in your life. That's ridiculous. That he could be so, like, what are you doing, man? Like, it's enough that you're on a good team and you're not the reason that team is good, but that you're going to come and talk to a guy like Tyreek Hill and be like, you're a bum, I locked you down. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You're trash. You know, it's really funny. I don't want to, like, I'm dogging him, but I don't want to, like, hate on him because, like, he's not awful. But would you ever be like, yeah, I think that he's going to beat Tyreek Hill. I think he's better. No. You wouldn't say that about him and any number one receiver. You just couldn't because he's not that caliber of player. Okie dokie. Zadarius Smith. It's really hot. I hope you know that. I hope you know. Sorry. Every time I say sorry after taking a short pause, it's because I'm wiping sweat off myself because I'm really fucking hot. Zadarius Smith agreed on terms to a big contract with the Ravens and then decided he didn't want to. Like, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen because that doesn't usually happen where you're like, yeah, I'll take these tens of millions of dollars to play. Just kidding. I want to go somewhere else. He wants to come to Kansas City. He wants to come to Kansas City. He wants to come to Kansas City. Holy shit. Him and Melvin Ingram, if we can bring back Melvin Ingram, oh, that'd be crazy. But it's just the idea that he would just be like, I'm backing out. I ain't about all this shit. I don't want to be a Raven. You guys suck. They don't suck, but I think it's funny that he just did that. Last thing I want to talk about. Von freaking Miller. Vonnie Bevashon Miller. That is his real name, I swear to God. 6 year, $120 million. Now, I'm not sure about void years, but the fact that it says that is insane. The idea that a guy could be making, what is that? Sorry, $20 million a year as an edge rusher? $20 million a year for 6 years? As a 33-year-old? That's unheard of. And by that I mean it's literally never happened before. So, I don't know. Do I think he should have gone to the Broncos? Yes. No, I don't. Why did I say that? No, because I think the Bills are immediately... So many people in the NFL, in the AFC are Super Bowl contenders. It feels like the whole AFC is Super Bowl contenders. So, if you weren't excited for football before this offseason, you have to be now. Because the whole league is different. The whole league is good pretty much, unless you're like a Texans fan or something. Sorry about it, man. That really sucks. But yeah, this is the most competitive the league has ever been. This is the best distribution of talent the league has ever seen. And I, for one, am very excited to see it. So, thank you very much for listening to this long-ass thing with literally 2 breaks in it. But I'm really hot, and that was my last thing I wanted to talk about. Thank you so much again. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.